our mission statement, our president of the college is rumored to have been won over by the mission statement, and that's why she accepted the position. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what Agnes is. We're a small campus with about 950 students, residential, and we have a small post-bac pre-med program as well. And so, like I said, our campus is residential. All students either live on the physical campus or we have an apartment complex a couple blocks away that the college owns as well. And so we're working on different things through sustainability to encourage our students to be more involved. We have a building dashboard program that now has all the buildings on the physical campus. We have 2,000 trees on our 100 acres, so and we're a designated arboretum, and we have a student intern who's working on an arboretum guide. So like basically a living, walking museum tour across campus. We're very excited for these upcoming projects. So you'll see some pictures of our students and our campus, and so we've got an idea of how small we are, but we are a very tight-knit community, and we can get a lot of things done just through behavioral change. And so until we get the funding, that's kind of what we tend to focus on first. That's what we like to think we're pretty good at. So turn it over to Kelly.
Okay, so my first year when I entered the school, everyone's placed into a first year seminar class. Mine was called So You Want to Save the Planet, which was actually at the time when I was interested in not necessarily fixing the planet, but just kind of environmental studies. And as a class project, they brought up the point of water, like the issue of water on our campus. And so our professor, as well as I think we had about 15 students in the class, we did kind of start from the beginning a water audit of the entire campus. So it simply was in a class period, we went around with buckets, stopwatches, and ourselves, and we tested, you can see some of the classmates testing like the flow rates and things like that. So we went to all the academic buildings as well as the residence halls, and we got all the data collected. And we really kind of tried to get not only all the students involved, but professors down the line in getting the rest of the data collected.
We were able to discover some interesting things about our campus. For example, a lot of our water meters are not anywhere near the buildings that they meter. And so things that we discover as we move towards this idea of sub-metering and reworking a lot of our pipes and things like that, it's good to have this information now rather than when we're halfway through a construction project or through the planning process of a construction project. So that's one of the benefits of having a small group of students kind of take a look at something on campus.
So this is kind of to give you a brief overview of what we found back from 2006 and 2007 and then into 2008. You can kind of see the difference of what we found, and obviously student residences were a majority of that, and we kind of as a class, he had us analyze kind of what we had found. We just simply joked that we were a women's college and we take long showers, but that was part of the whole reason of behavioral change was definitely going to be a big part of this. And so you can also see some of the others, but we ran into problems of like some of the buildings being both academic or administrative and residence halls, and kind of like Justine said, not knowing where the water meters, some of the meters were hooked up with two buildings, so we kind of had some issues, but we were able to kind of sort them out and kind of move from there. And so you can see a big drop in irrigation, which going to the next one, you can see we have a retention pond on campus that we like to refer to as Lake Agnes, and that's where we get our irrigation from. So in order to just cut down completely, as you can see, 79%, but sadly, student residences still went up. So we kind of were, as much as that was kind of disappointing, it definitely was where we were going to be able to focus. Like I said, behavioral change is something we can focus on.
And so switching over the irrigation entirely to like runoff and rainwater through our irrigation pond, and we don't have any like rainwater systems or catchments or anything. It's just the pond itself. Really almost an 80% reduction, which was really amazing. Several million gallons, which for us is quite a lot on a small campus. But we're also looking at increases in our student body as well. We inducted the largest incoming class in the history of the college last year. 267 students, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, my graduating class was about 170, so that's a pretty, and you know, a 10 student difference makes a big deal on a small campus. So we're looking at now upcoming like retrofitting mechanical changes to the buildings and the residence halls that they live in, because you know we are continuing to expand. So some of the first steps, and before we're working on a new behavioral change campaign across campus, educating our students to the using the facilities that we have on campus, and so we have an intern, well now a project coordinator in our office who's designed these series of posters, and you'll see them on the graphics, but this is one that's to letting them know who to call if they find a leak, kind of encouraging them to take responsibility for the residences that they live in, and letting us know when there are leaks, because we don't always know, custodial staff doesn't know every day what's going on. So one of the first steps we did was we went trayless in the dining hall. Our director of food services all of a sudden one day was like, "Well, we're trayless," and took the trays away. And but it was a great transition, and everyone was fine with it. We've also reduced our food waste. We had someone asking, could you donate your excess food to the food bank? And we're like, we don't have any excess food. We pretty much eat everything that we order. So that's been pretty good for us. Obviously, we talked about the irrigation and landscape changes. And doing all of the rainwater, and we are on the subcontinental divide, so we do get to work a little bit with that like natural system for us, and that helps us gather that water. We're working on outreach and education. It's a little bit more difficult to encourage a student to take a 3-minute shower when they have to wait 10 minutes for the water to heat up, but we're working on that stuff too. So we put signs on the, surprisingly a large number of students do little things like run the water when they brush their teeth, and little behavioral changes like that. So we've put signs in the bathrooms on the mirrors, reminding them and letting them know what kind of effect they're having, and how many gallons they could be saving, things like that. Always on the positive side, not how many are you wasting, how many are you saving if you turn it off. And then moving towards comprehensive metering and then sub-metering. We do have the dashboard energy monitoring system through Lucid Design, and we were looking into completely monitoring one building on campus for gas, water, and electricity, and determined it would be about $10,000 to sub-meter a building at Agnes. And so it's something we really do want to do, but we'll have to work that into the budget and planning for the upcoming building changes we'll have. So it wasn't feasible to do right now, but in the future, definitely. And so obviously we'll be setting reduction goals, which Kelly will talk about a little bit. We'll be working on a water action plan and conservation education. Obviously I talked about the sub-metering, and then the big things, the major building renovations coming up. So we are a really small school and we don't have a lot of financial resources, but we are currently working really well with what we do have and looking to the future, anticipating some really great things to come.
Okay, so like Justine mentioned, this semester I'm working with her office to kind of come up with a water action plan. We've signed the President's Climate Commitment, so we already have kind of a climate action plan, but water has kind of always been something that we need to address. And so kind of continuing what I did, helped with my first year, I've kind of always been somewhat dealing with water on campus, and so this semester I'm going to hopefully be able to come up with a complete action plan. So when we do come up with funding, we will have kind of like a guide to go to of what we can do next. And so to kind of give you what I will be doing this semester, we have the data, or most of it, and kind of through the little complications of finding out the water meters. We have like a community day with professors and staff that they go out and they actually found the rest of the meters. But to find the rest of the flow rates and kind of complete that so we have a baseline, kind of be able to compare beginning to end and into the future. So I'll be able to then go and kind of, the ultimate plan is to have kind of an evaluation of where we can go. So annual savings, implementation, kind of things that we could do when we get the funding. So, aerators, front-loading washers, dual flush toilets, things like that, that we ultimately could do, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of see like a payback, because as we know, money is a big issue, and being able to convince someone that we do need these things simply because it will give us more money would be really good. So be able to set goals, hopefully have an amount of reduction that I can show. So if we put in this, we'll be able to reduce this amount of water. So we're gonna hopefully be able to have these recommendations, and then with this plan, be able to kind of see anything additional we can do in the future. So like I said, it's going to be hopefully kind of implementation and retrofitting when we get the money, and then hopefully while I'm writing the plan, I'll be able to do a lot of behavioral change on campus as well. And a lot of that's going to be through education, working with my peers. We have a good environmental resident program that are always around, so they can kind of answer questions, remind their classmates to turn off water while they're brushing their teeth or having a conversation in the bathroom. So things like that. But also kind of finding, hopefully, some funding through grants or rebates and things like that. So hopefully throughout the semester, I'll be able to kind of create this guideline for the school. So once I leave, they'll be able to kind of continue and having, their next step and being able to evaluate their consumption.
So, we're looking to the future. That's probably the biggest message you can take away